Hi, I'm Margaret Ann, and I'm here with you tonight to talk about smudging and clearing your space. You know, almost every single book that I've written addresses this in some way or another. You can find more information about it in one of my later books called Crystals Beyond Beginners, and also in my ebook, which is very inexpensive. If you go to Amazon, the ebook is all about smudging. A lot of good information in a very, very easy format. So this is an excerpt from All About Smudging, and also I put the same little couple of paragraphs in my book, Crystals Beyond Beginners. So I'm going to read this to you. So just focus on your heart and really listen. The real purpose of smudging originates from the part of you that remembers your true nature, which is calm, peaceful, and happy. Smudging isn't simply the removal of negativity, but more important, it is the remembrance of love, kindness, compassion, and true happiness. Remember your magnificence. Connect with the wisdom of your ultimate nature. Find inner strength. Cultivate self confidence. And serve others with your love and joy. Know that your existence is truly meaningful. Because so often when we go about smudging and clearing away that which no longer serves us or negative energy, so often it's done with it. Oh, I got to get rid of this. I got to get rid of this, and that's true. That's valid. But also at the same time, on the other hand in hand, is also the immediately replacing that vibration. Maybe you're getting rid of emotions that are no longer serving you. They're bothering you constantly and you want to calm down, but right away replace that with love, kindness, and compassion just by thinking those thoughts, does it? So here are some tools you can use because you could do it without tools. You could do it without with prayers mostly. But here are some tools that you can use like herbs, resins, woods, essential oils, waters, crystals, and grids. And we're going to talk about each one of these items. So, the tools. So, I go into a lot about the tools in both Chakra Awakening, my first book, and All About Smudging. Now, here you see a censer. Some of you may have seen or experienced censers. I grew up in the Catholic religion. Didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I still utilize all the beautiful blessings that came with those teachings. I found it very spiritual. But in this Catholic Church, this is very common to put a charcoal, which you can see on that little white dish here, pictured here, and you light the charcoal and place it inside of the censer, and then you put the herbs on top of that charcoal after it's fully ignited. And we being the more in the conscious living community, they often more often go to an abalone shell or even some kind of a clay pot, and always being mindful that that becomes hot. So after you ignite the charcoal and start dropping your herbs onto it, you would know that everything becomes hot. So whether you're using the abalone shell and maybe it's standing on a stand like you see in this picture, or I often use a pot holder, just like the kind of pot holder I use in my kitchen, and then I make sure I have some kind of a trivet or something, or some kind of a tile or something that's going to, if I need to put it down, I know where that spot is to put it onto, so I don't burn anything. I don't want to burn the wood. I don't want to burn the, on my countertop or anything like that. You want to be really mindful when you're doing this because depending on what herbs you're using or what resins, there might be some sparks and you don't want them to ignite anything. You want it, this is for good, to get rid of what you don't want, not to create more havoc. So I'm going to show you some more tools and then we'll talk about it a bit more. So here you can see there's a picture on the far left side of this picture. You can see a piece, a sweetgrass braid. And I have used sweetgrass to sweeten the energy when I'm burning herbs, to bring in blessings and to honor the elders. And that's how I've used it. I often have used it during pipe ceremonies too. That's more common from my experience. You can see the abalone shell has in this photograph on the screen, has a bundle of white sage that is laying inside of that abalone shell. Well, normally what I do is I hold the abalone shell without the herbs in it and walk with the smudge or the sage bundle, which comes in so many varieties and combinations. I like white sage personally. And then I'll walk around with that abalone shell or some other device. It could be a pot, good old pot from the kitchen that works too. And so that when I'm walking the building, the house, wherever I am, that any little flecks of smoke or embers will drop into the abalone shell, not onto the floor or the carpet or your furniture or whatever else, wherever you're doing this. So that's to be really mindful of that. Now, if you decide to use the charcoal, which I mentioned from the page prior, you're taking one of those little charcoal and you're igniting it with a lighter, and then watch till you see that the whole charcoal is fully ignited. It kind of looks like a sparkler look. It goes and it doesn't make that sound. That's a technical term. You just watch it until it's all the way ignited. Otherwise, if you start putting herbs on it too soon, that charcoal will be smoldered and it doesn't have enough air to fully finish igniting. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's a picture of lavender buds, and I like to have lavender buds in my smudge blends when I'm burning with smoky herbs, because that also brings in sweetness. Because for me, it's not only about getting rid of, but bringing in blessings and well-being right away to replace anything that was no longer for my highest good. So it's very important for me in my work when I do clearing of energy, that it's not just the letting go, it's the bringing in the blessings to replace that space. Because what is that expression? It's something along the lines that the universe or whatever abhors a vacuum. They don't like an empty space, because whatever was there before will more than likely repeat itself and go right back to where it was. So you want to refill it with blessings and well-being. Now I also have a picture here right below the lavender that is um, a portion of a bag of flat cedar. And cedar also has been used in many ceremonies to honor the elders and to bring in ancestors and blessings from beyond. Osha root, which may be out of stock. I'm not sure if we have any in stock. Maybe we have some, but osha root is goes in as far as harvest times. Sometimes it's not available for a period of time because it has to grow and get dried, etc. But osha root is really good for really heavy energy or things that you feel like someone's put bad vibes on you and you want to like clear that away from you and keep it away, keep it off of you. That's good. You can also put that and carry it in your purse, or you put it in your bra, or if you're someone who carries a medicine bag, a piece of osha root is good. And then you see my smudge blend, which, just so you know, I don't want to make it into a commercial, but what I've done, and you could do this for yourself if you want, um, it has like sage and cedar, frankincense, copal, myrrh, sandalwood in two different types, yellow and red. It's got dragon's blood, a Man Have Three Kings blend, sweetgrass. I said lavender. It's got the osha root. So many. So to buy each one of those bags adds up to a lot more than just buying one bag of my nice blend. But if you want to do it yourself, it's very fun to do that, to mix your own. And we carry all that here at the Crystal Garden. For those of you that don't already know, I'm Margaret Ann Lembo, the owner and founder of the Crystal Garden, thecrystalgarden.com, here in South Florida, in Palm Beach County. And so all these things that I'm talking about, you can find at my store on the website, thecrystalgarden.com. So here are some photos of what frankincense looks like. So this is frankincense, and the second one is myrrh. Oh, I forgot to put the words with it, but that's okay. You can see this. The third little circle, that's copal. And that last one on the far right side, that's dragon's blood. These are great to burn on the charcoal. You have to put this on the charcoal, and it creates a beautiful aroma, but also very effective in clearing negative energy. Now, once upon a time, a long time ago, I did a lot of sacred ceremonies, and I would do a lot of events that required that I'd start the class, the teachings, whatever. I always did with started it. I didn't do. I started it with burning sage and calling in the four directions, or actually seven directions, with the using some kind of a burning herbal mix, like my Margaret Sacred Smudge blend. But then I got to a point back then, or back in those days, I still was a smoker, and thank goodness that's over and long gone. And plus, I had an allergy to my cats, so that wasn't the best. And so I was having challenges breathing when I would burn that and then need to sing a song, because I often start a ceremonial type of a teaching singing a song of some sort. Well, this I ended up creating Smudging Spray, but not for sale. I just created it for myself. It's a blend of seven different essential oils and holy waters and sacred site essences from around the world. So, in not too long of it didn't take long before um, friends who are also customers were like, "You can't have that and not let us buy it." Like, well, it's not really for sale. It's this is I made for me, and they're like, "Yeah, but you need to change that." So, for the first year, probably at least, this is in the early 2000s. I had it like an Avery sticker on it that said "Smudge in Spray," and that's it. But then good friends of mine in the industry convinced me, get some nice labels, Margaret, because this is going to take off. And it sure did. It is the number one bestseller here at the Crystal Garden. So this is something that you can use in a hotel room, in an office building, in a hospital. Many people have used it in the hospital. I've had policemen and emergency workers use it quite a bit, and teachers in the classroom, maybe before the students arrive and after they leave at night, and or in any circumstance. Some people like don't leave home without it, to be honest with you. So smudge and spray is a nice alternative, a liquid alternative. So these are just, sage and cedar spray and Nag Champa spray are just sage and cedar and Nag Champa in water. So those are just in water. But these other blends, which I have so many more, but these are a few that are really good for clearing and getting rid of negative energy and bringing in blessings. Like Ganesha is the destroyer of obstacles and the bringer of blessings. That has holy waters in it that I've collected from all over the world. So you can do this too. You don't have to buy mine. I'd love for you to buy my stuff, but let's say you wanted to do it yourself. Come up with the formula from of essential oils and add holy waters and sacred site essences if you have that, because I collected sacred site essences when I brought people on sacred sites tours. So I had a collection. I didn't know why I was collecting them at the time. Now I know. And what else do I put in a gemstone tincture? So I make jars of different gemstones that are associated with that particular, whether it's Ganesha or Archangel Michael, as you can see here. Miracle water. Evergreen doesn't have any holy waters in it. It's just a really evergreen spray. But the idea is you can add to it. Oh, I also put Bach flower essences in my sprays. So I know this might sound a little bit like a commercial, but that's not my point. My point is you can do this yourself. And I do teach about this in my book, The Essential Guide to Aromatherapy and Vibrational Healing. There's formulas in there. I include recipes of different ways that you can create different blends. So you can do this yourself. And if you want it already pre-made, I have a spray for that, that's for sure. Now I want to mention for Miracle Water, when I made that, that had only sacred site essences, gemstone tinctures, and holy waters from around the world, but also even things like Sai Baba's vibhuti and crystal clay from Arkansas, and just like this whole combination. And then I realized people aren't going to believe me. They're going to think I'm just giving them some water. And so I added a scent, and so it does have a floral scent. But initially it wasn't intended to have a scent. It was more about the energy. That's very vibrationally active, but miracle water. Okay. Another way that you can use, another tool to use, is salt. Very affordable. You don't need to go out and spend a lot of money to do this. If you wanted to, you can use Morton salt. You could use, whatever your store is, that brand. It doesn't have to be, good old table salt works. Epsom salt is good. And you could also use Himalayan salt, that's fine too, or even include salt in your space by putting the salt lamps. I've also done it if things are really heavy energy and it really needs to be cleaned. I have put little saucers in the four corners of each room and all corners of the house, actually. And then after 48 hours, take that salt, put it in a black garbage bag, and dispose of it off the property. Now, that can still be part of the process. So while we're on this slide, I'm just going to share this thought of how one way to go around and clear your space. What I like to do is I light the charcoal, put my herbs on the charcoal after it's fully lit in the abalone shell. I typically use an abalone shell. I also have this really cute clay bird that I use too sometimes. And then I form an intention. I stand in the middle of the building. I form an intention of what it is that I want, what I'm doing. I pray. I ask God, Goddess, Creator, to come be with me to help me with this process. All my angels, all my guides, come be with me. I want to clear this space, and this is what I need your help with. And I want to replace it immediately with love and well being. So, with the burning herbs, then I start, walk to the back of the building or house, wherever you are, and I just go through every single room and I do it in a clockwise direction. So I go around that room in a clockwise direction, come out into the hallway, next room clockwise direction. I keep doing that until I do every single room. And during that time, based on what I was taught by medicine people, I don't look in mirrors during that time. I open drawers and doors and let the smoke go in. You can use a feather. For those of you that like to come to our Tuesday night, the Crystal Garden, Shop the Crystal Garden from Home events, we have a show. Starts at 6:30 if I don't take too long with my workshop. We have plenty of all these things, but also feathers and feather fans. And you can use a feather if you want. And you don't have to. You could just use the energy and let the smoke go where it needs to go. Anyway, so go through the whole entire building with that energy. Then I stop and go back to the middle of the building, do a nice closing final prayer just from my heart. It doesn't have to be any specific prayer, but sometimes I do, like when I'm walking through the rooms. Sometimes I'll say, depending on how intense it is, I might say, "Oh, all that is evil, get out of here. All that is good, come in." Or, "Only goodness and love are allowed in this space. Thank you for all the blessings in my life." Sometimes I sing the Our Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, and so on, and walk the building and get it all clean and nice, whether it's a house, a building, your car, you're outside your house. And then if it really was intense, the reason that you were clearing, you could take the salt and put a stream of salt on the outer rim of your property or at the front door and the back door. It doesn't have to be super obvious. It's for your intentions and your knowledge, what you know that you're doing it. And that kind of seals the vibration from changing, from shifting. It kind of keeps it clean and fresh. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Okay. Now you can also use, here's more woods now for woods. So these are pictures on the left side of Palo Santo sticks, and we have, and here at my store, we sell them with little words on them or just plain Palo Santo. I first was introduced to Palo Santo sticks when I was training with a medicine man from Peru, and that's how we would open our spiritual circles, is we'd burn the Palo Santo and then pass it around, cleanse our own energy field, because it's not only about cleansing building or the house or your office or your bedroom. It's also about cleansing your own energy field, because it's our negative thought forms that often are creating, well, our thought forms create reality. Yeah. So that's where we have to self-knowledge, self-awareness. What are we thinking? You know? In fact, when people have asked me in the past, as kindly as I can say it, sometimes they'll say, Margaret, why is this happening to me? And then I try to find the right compassionate voice to say, it's not happening to you. Instead, let's think about what what are you thinking? What are you believing? What is your belief system? And change that. We have to shift that. So sometimes these different herbs, these scents, these aromas, whether it's in smoke form or aromatic through aromatherapy, they shift the vibration using the olfactory nerve, going through the limbic system of the brain, and also they create scrubbing bubbles, is what I envision. You know, that commercial for one of the cleansers for a bathroom, scrubbing bubbles. So you imagine that lighting, igniting these woods and herbs and resins are activating their inherent nature and start to do their work to cleanse and clean and bring in blessings. So you can see there's different types of sandal. We carry the sandalwood we carry here at my store as the yellow powder, and the other kind I think is more like a shredded wood. It looks like it's pretty. It's red. So waters. I'm talking about waters. So Chalice Well water. That's me at Chalice Well. I think that was. Oh, what year was that? I was with my friend Rena, and we were at the Chalice Well Gardens in Glastonbury. And so you can collect water there, and I still have water from that trip. So what I do is I potentiate the water. I don't, you know, have a little bottle and then go glug glug glug, and that's one bottle of Smudging Spray. Not at all. I use water literally from the tap, and then small quantities of the various holy waters from around the world. Lots of customers give me holy water. Thank you. And so I have water from Mother Mary's last known home, St. Anne's Cathedral in Quebec, and the list goes on. If I told you all of it, we'd never get through this little mini workshop. So you can also make your own holy water. It's not that hard. It's taking water in some kind of container, holding your intention, and then really envisioning, imagining that you're filling the water vibrationally with through the palms of your hands. It's streaming in through the crown of your head, down your arms, through the palms of your hands, and vibrationally changing the molecular structure of the water so that it is holy, it is sacred, it is bringing blessings to whoever is in its near it at all, whether it's sprayed or whether it's put on, or even the bottle is holy and it's sacred and it shifts energy. Now, also Florida water, we have it in the American version and the Peruvian version, Peruvian Agua de Florida, and also even soap. We even have Rue soap. So there's different soaps you can actually use to cleanse yourself with. But Florida water is actually a cologne that can be utilized. I like to put it into a spray bottle and use it to spray. But many Latin American families, have utilized this Florida water to cleanse negative energy off. You could put some on the back of your neck, put some on your temples. And it can also, I know many people that have used it for muscular discomfort, and I've used it for muscular discomfort, and also even for headaches. So it's a very good cologne that is energetic and very powerful. And a lot of South American and Central American people use it spiritually. Now, here's a little bit of an excerpt of my book, The Essential Guide to Aromatherapy and Vibrational Healing, How to Make a Gemstone Essence. Now, do not drink the water that you make the gemstone essence. I never recommend drinking water that has had any kind of rock in it. Please do not eat the rocks. But you can use it to activate even more fully a spray, like I make the different sprays I spoke about earlier. And so to make a gemstone essence, I'll just read it right off the screen here with you. To make a gemstone essence, decide first on the purpose of the essence. And then to help determine your gemstone essence formula, use the A to Z guide and the appendices for guidance and inspiration. So that would be looking it up in the book as to, I recommend using this is actually, I wonder if this is actually from this book, from the Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones. Anyway, um, the question then is to begin with questions that are like, so what are my goals? Like, what do you want to do? What is your intention? How do I want the combination to help me? And once you've identified your intention, choose the gemstones that match. So here's an example. Let's say Archangel Michael spray. Now, I don't remember exactly which gemstones I use, but I'm going to guess. Definitely lapis lazuli in there. Probably blue dyed agate is in there. Maybe sodalite is in there because Archangel Michael is cobalt. Probably clear quartz. And probably citrine. And those I feel are matching vibrations with Archangel Michael. You go with your gut. You have to follow your own feelings, but you can also look it up in my books. It depends on, how you want to approach it. You know what you need. So here are some crystals you can work with intention to create a grids or to put them into water to create mists, gemstone mists. But so the intention with like amethyst, for example, is really good for changing habits that no longer serve you. So it's good for um, yeah, changing habits, changing the way you were doing that, for transforming and transmuting challenging situations. Black tourmaline, deflecting negativity, just clear out all negative energy. Clear quartz is to bring more light, to activate your intention and amplify your intention. Hematite is to ground, to bring more peace, more calm, and healing vibration. Jet is purifying. It's actually like a form of charcoal, petrified charcoal. So jet is good for cleansing energy and protection. Obsidian, specifically black obsidian, really helpful for negativity, dealing with heavy emotions. Black obsidian is really good for heavy emotions. Even a smoky quartz is also rose quartz to add more love into everything. If there's only love, then nothing can be bad because it's love. Love is when love is vibrating strongly. That's all that can really exist. So that's one way to also clear is just by amplifying love. And so you could use rose quartz. And selenite brings more light. It's cleansing. It's grounding, and it's also connecting you with the divine. So it's very powerful. And some here are some of the photos for you for just a little bit of stone identification. We did a lot of this in my prior series, in the Rainbow of Gemstone series. So if you haven't seen those are on the YouTube channel, Margaret Ann Lembo. So it's youtube.com/Margaret Ann Lembo. They're all up there for you, all free. So black obsidian, these are actually some black obsidian ones we currently have in stock as of today's date, which we are in July 2021. Selenite logs. So selenite logs I love to use at the front door of the house so that it creates a clearing process every time you go in and out of the house. This or any place it could be. For those of you that are like body workers or energy workers, great tool to put underneath your massage table or whatever table, or to have somewhere in your space where you're working with customers, clients. Snowflake obsidian I like to use because it represents to me the energy of, in the darkness, you can always find light. And black tourmaline is an all-time favorite of mine for deflecting negativity. You can even place uh, black tourmaline, black obsidian, any of these gemstones that I've mentioned in corners and creating a grid. In fact, yep, there it is, grids with intention. So this is cut out of my book. This is the bedroom grid. Is it? Yes, it is. The bedroom grid. That's from my book, The Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones. And so even that picture on the right-hand side is a little excerpt. You can always come back to this little video either on the Facebook page, on the Crystal Garden Facebook page, or YouTube if you want to watch it again. Probably be up sometime tomorrow or the next day. Um, if you want to stop and read that whole page, that little excerpt. But that's an example. Like you can make something look very pretty on your windowsill. You have this sodalite, you have a sodalite, that's a sodalite dolphin and a sodalite obelisk. And there's an intention behind that, and put some flowers next to it, and it's just a pretty arrangement. But to you, it's a little altar everywhere. We have set up these little grids throughout our homes, throughout our space, and it doesn't have to be obvious to anyone but you, your intention, why you're doing that. So here we have, as you can see on this grid, take a look. There's different choices of what you can place on your nightstand, underneath your mattress, your pillowcase, what's over maybe on your bureau where you have your clothes. You have all these different options. And what I do is I envision that not only are the crystals placed here, there, and everywhere, but I envision that there's like a beam of light connecting and creating a web or a grid that's invisible to others, but in your mind, you know that you've created this grid of light by using gemstones. I had this realization of creating grids of light. In fact, I took people to Chichen Itza and Uxmal and the mirror, and in the Yucatan Peninsula, but also Machu Picchu, Peru, Ollantaytambo, different locations throughout the world, even in the Four Corners region, reactivating grids of light. Now we can reactivate the grids of light in our own space, in our own home, in our own workspace, and create it so that it feels good. That's why everybody loves the feeling of the crystal garden. And so here is just another little example. We have these wood grids, and those will be on our show tonight. Um, that you can take different gemstones and place them on each point within the grid with intention and choose what crystals. You could do all clear quartz. You could do all rose quartz. You could do a combination of gemstones. There are so many choices, and the choices are unlimited. And the idea is that you are creating little altars everywhere. So you could just be a display to somebody else. You're just displaying your rocks. Look at my pretty rocks. But to you, it means something else. All right. So I am over my little time here, but I think we're done. We are. So I want to thank you so much for attending. I hope this helped you or gave you some kind of an idea in some way. It's just a little mini free workshop for you to help you with your life and to make it better, filled with more love, more kindness, more compassion, and happiness. I hope that you'll join next week. Next week on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to share another Tools for Self-Awareness talk, the Gemstone Oracle. So thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope that you'll stay and join us for our fabulous Facebook Shop the Crystal Garden from Home show. We have so much fun. Thanks for watching.